This is Begal, I take it?
This is Begal.
Hi, Mr. Begal. I'm TJ.
Hi, TJ. I'm Richard.
Nice to meet you. All right, hi. Let's go ahead and get you. Let's get you unleashed here. All right, so don't wanna rush us or anything. All right. Hi. Where are you going, big guy? All right. Hi. Hi. Oh yeah. Good job.
Found it already.
No allergies?
No.
Good. Sit. Good job. Yes, yes, use a Beagle, all right. Use a Beagle, all right. That's a good boy. All right, saddle. Good. So I reviewed the email the other night, and just whenever you get a chance, probably just text me too, just the feeding guidelines.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Feeding guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually after I do it a couple times, I'll remember, but especially when I get new pups come in, I don't want to mix it up.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we'll do is just try to go over as many of the behavioral issues that you have as much as possible with me here, and we'll record everything. So that way we'll have like a little bit of hopefully a before and then during training progress and then afterwards, recorded for you guys.
Yep.
And then of course the first couple days or so I'll be evaluating as I'm working with him and getting to know him anyways initially. But this way I get to kind of see where you guys are at and try to kind of assess how to start working with him best and prioritizing things.
Yeah.
All right,
So I guess maybe like the first thing is I was just walking him around these little tree islands here, and he's like, sometimes I get him to like not drag like that, but other times, but here I'll walk him.
Go ahead and just show us.
Let's Begal. Here. Oops. Here. Oops. Begal. Here. Oops. Here. Thank you. Right there, excuse me. Here. Wait. Let's go to the next tree. So that's like the main thing there.
Okay.
He's dragging there.
Gotcha.
Did have a little bit of a leave it issue this morning on our morning walk. He found like a little chicken thing and wouldn't drop it, so I couldn't.
We can recreate that pretty easily.
Yeah. Leave it. Oops. Leave it. Oops. Leave it. Oops. Thank you. Good boy. Thank you. Oops. Leave it. Oops. Leave it.
Gotcha. All right. So the main problem here, at least initially from what I see, is just the fact that we're giving him commands, but we don't have his focus.
Yeah.
So probably what we'll start off with is just name recognition, building his ability to redirect, and that'll be something that'll make your life easier, because then when you actually give your commands, because you're giving a lot of commands, they're just not they're kind of like falling on deaf ears, if that makes any sense. So we want to kind of make it less effort and more results for you, because you're putting in like a ton of effort and we're getting very little back out. So I think that's going to definitely be number one thing to start off with, is just the ability to get his attention. Because if we can't get his attention, it's really hard to give a command. I mean, we can give a command, but he's it's not easy enough for him to recognize. Then after that, we're going to have to work on how well he knows those commands, like actually training him that whoops means that, or oops means that he did something wrong, right? Because right now, he's kind of just brushing it aside too, right? So if that's supposed to be kind of like the negative marker, or the consequence or correction marker or anything like that, all those negative notes, it has to have some sort of impact for him. Just like how wait for a second. Just like how the command itself needs to actually go through, and he actually needs to be able to recognize it, understand it, and execute it. The correction part actually needs to go through to let him know that, oh, I just did something wrong. So it just needs some sort of impact. And then, so first part, getting his attention. Second part, actually going over to see how well he knows those commands. And then the third part is if he does something wrong, does he actually know or recognize that? All right. So let's try that again. I'll give you a treat, and now you'll actually make sure that he's looking at you instead of the treat, and then give him a command that you know he can do really well.
Settle. Thank you. Good boy.
Good. Good.
Good boy. Wait. Do that for a little while. Good boy.
Now, do that again. Have him kind of walk around a little bit, and then just try to get him to settle again. Pretend like you have a treat.
Settle. Settle. Thank you.
Good. So good and bad. We're gonna need to, because he's very treat motivated, which is good. But you can see that's what he's focused on. We want him to kind of focus up on us, on here. So he might still be in the luring phase of the training. We want to try to get him past that and be able to execute something without thinking that there's a treat. So this time, get his attention and ask him to settle, but make sure he sees that you have no treat and try to get his attention onto you.
Begal. Begal. Settle.
There you go, much better. See how he's looking at you that time instead of your hand?
Boy.
Very good.
Good boy.
Good. And that's perfect. So that's what we just need to do for everything, right? We got to get his attention first. We got to make sure that he's focused on us.
Yeah.
He can actually get, we issue the command, he recognizes it, he executes, and now we give him a treat.
Yeah.
If I have any left on me. I got more in the car.
I'll take.
But here you go.
Settle.
So try to do it with your, yeah. There you go.
Settle.
Good.
Thank you. Good work.
There we go. Good.
Work.
Cool. All right. Yeah. That's going to be pretty much the whole process. Very simplified. And we'll have to kind of, do the same thing with everything. But let's see. On an oops, try to make it so the leash is tight just temporarily when he does something wrong, and then loose again. There you go.
Thanks. Good boy.
Good.
Good boy.
And then keep going again.
Oops.
I'm distracting him too, so that's fine.
That's fine. You gotta get over it. Thank you. Oops.
There you go. See?
Thank you.
Good.
Boy.
So see how that's actually making a little bit more impact now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Alright. Yeah.
He's definitely got potential. He's
Yeah.
got a ton of energy, which is understandable, and his nose is going to be an obstacle. But he seems like a good guy.
Yeah. He's smart. He's attentive. He just, like you said, follows his nose. His nose gets him into a lot of mischief.
Okay.
So that's what it is. Gotta correct that a little bit.
So let's test something else while we're at the car, and then we'll check his social work and stuff on the walk to the PetSmart.
Oops.
I'll have to be careful too, because his collar is really loose.
Yeah.
You'll generally want it 2-finger tight so you can't slip out of it or anything.
Yeah.
But we'll tighten that up. Sorry, I've got way too much stuff in there.
Settle.
Do you have any of your training treats or a pouch with you?
I don't with me today. I left them back there.
No problem.
He's honestly starting to get a little tired of them, and they weren't working so well. So it's like I'm trying to find a better one.
Gotcha. Well, we'll run through a couple that I have. Most of them are chicken. I got like freeze-dried chicken and stuff, and this is chicken jerky. The main thing is to not just find something that he likes, which is going to be important when he wants to work for, but I usually like to wait at least a day or so between different treats, so that way we can see how well it settles with his stomach too. Most of the time it's going to be fine, but sometimes, sometimes it's not a good match. So I'll give you this, and you can break up a few pieces. very food motivated, which is, like I said, it's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's good because we can use it to get his attention. It's bad because we don't want that or any other tool to become like a crutch, right? We want it to be an actual reward instead of like having to lure him to do it all the time. That's just gonna take some practice, and we'll go over like how to wean off the treats later too, but especially since it's one of the few very high driving factors for them, we want to take advantage of that. Usually have them in case we need them, and we want to reward him for good behavior, right? So he's doing good now. I would go ahead and reward that.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
Settle down there.
Yeah, so especially when he executes commands without you having to ask, that's perfect too, right? That's how we start to get to like that older kind of dog conditioning, when it's almost more like a routine and it's more like expected, as opposed to constantly having to issue out commands all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this to him. Maybe not. There we go. All right, so you can go ahead and unclip yours. And one thing that's usually a problem with beagles and hound breeds in general is their nose is going to make them a higher flight risk if that recall isn't developed well.
Yeah.
And I know that you said that he'll be pretty good so long as there are no distractions. And we have treats too, so that helps too. So go ahead and give him a treat. Good. And then just start walking.
Okay.
So we'll see what he does. Good. So when he comes back to you, have him settle. There you go.
Settle.
And then give him a reward.
Thank you.
Good.
Good boy.
Very good. Okay.
Settle. Settle. Good boy.
Good. So the good thing is he's bonded well enough, right, that he'll return for that reward, especially knowing that we have something. So now what we'll try to do is get him on some grass, some smells, get that nose going, and see how well he can still do it. And we'll just kind of stand here for a while.
Staring me down.
He's waiting for a command. And then when we don't give him one, we'll see what he does. All right, so there, he responded to the leash pressure. Okay. Now this time when he starts going, kind of straying off away, before he hits the end of the leash, try calling his name out once. Just stay nice and boring until he checks out again. Okay. Oh. Yeah, he heard me. Good boy. Oh, good job. There you go. Go ahead and reward that. All right, well, let's just start walking again. There. Now say it.
Begal.
Very good. Good.
Thank you. Good boy.
Ah, there you go. Good. So not too bad.
Yeah, he stays pretty close to me when we're out. The recall part, when he's runs off, is where it's difficult.
Like the distance?
Yeah. Well, not, at distance he'll be fine. It's just as long as he's not distracted. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
So I could probably have him maybe, where that red car is, and he can come from there.
Okay. Well, let's.
I haven't tried it any further.
We'll test it, but I don't want to test it on this long one in the public.
Yeah.
We'll switch back to the short one, and we'll see. Because sometimes that's might just be the level that he has to graduate to. Because he can do pretty good here when relatively quiet, relatively distraction-free, which is good.
Thank you. Good boy.
All right. Here, I'll let you put your leash back on him.
Good.
I'll throw this back in the car.
Hold up. Okay.
Sweet.
There you go.
All right.
Jump, bud.
Good job. Good.
You know it's there, don't you?
All right.
Okay.
We'll go head out to just some distraction.
Begal, here. Here. Thank you.
Good. All right. Good. And I'll go over this during the training, but when he is paying attention to you, finding a good way to kind of encourage it, right? We don't always have to reward it, but letting him know too that he's doing the right thing, and then asking him to continue it just right before he's about to check out, right? And that'll help you from having to keep it on this way. And that'll keep you from having to almost start over again every time he kind of resets, right? And we need to kind of work on that next step of maintaining focus. Because right now we're kind of just ping-ponging, right, back and forth. Okay.
Begal, here. Oops. Here. Thank you. Good boy. Here.
Good. So now maybe after the third one we'll reward him before.
Begal.
Before that happens. Good.
Here.
So he did it quite a few steps. He redirected himself a couple times.
Yeah.
But then because he didn't get any reinforcement from us, he was like, oh, okay, I guess that was long enough for the command, and checked out.
Yeah.
So two different things we're gonna have to work on that, especially if you always want him to do that.
Yeah.
One is gonna be you kind of rewarding or at least recognizing it,
Yeah.
and then two is a release command, right? So doing this until, okay, go ahead, or something like that, right? So that way he's waiting for that command to check out, and he's feeling he knows to keep doing it from our positive reinforcement and our interactions with him to kind of help encourage. So that's the two things that we're going to need to work on for that. That's good though.
Here. Here. Thank you.
Good boy.
Here. Good boy.
Good. So go ahead and get a treat ready.
Begal. Here.
Good.
Good boy. Begal. Here.
Good. So we'll count to 3 times. 1, 2, and
Begal. Here. Oops. Here. Here.
right. So that's where like the oops part doesn't have any impact.
Yeah.
Because he continues following his nose.
Yeah.
Okay.
All kinds of
It's gonna be a
stuff.
tough one, yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
So I'll take the leash for you.
There you go.
There you go. So now whenever he's not paying attention to you, start walking away. Okay. Now go ahead and call him.
Begal. Begal, come.
Yeah. So that's gonna be definitely like the usual problem that I see with hounds, right? Is like once their nose is going, everything else, like the ears don't work anymore, right?
Yep.
So-
Closed off there.
Yeah. So that's where also having a collar, even if it's just for a beep or a vibrate, can help because of the fact that like the further away that you get, the louder you're gonna scream, just to have the same kind of audio effect. His distance drops off pretty rapidly. But a collar will always have the same volume because it's right next to them each time, right? And that helps with consistency, and it helps sometimes with getting their attention.
Yeah.
And then the vibrate too is really good because it's actually a physical sensation.
Yeah.
So like imagine that you're at a rock concert or something with your friends and you're trying to get his attention, but you're right next to stage. You can yell, "Hey, Tim, Tim, Tim," all you want, right? But as soon as you like reach up and go like tap him on the shoulder, it's like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" Right? So sometimes just having a physical touch or physical sensation, that's another reason why those collars work so well, is because it's a lot harder to ignore.
Yeah.
That's all.
That nose of yours. Something else sit.
All right.
Thank you. Good boy.
Yeah, so pretty normal though.
Yeah.
Like I said, for hounds and flight risk problems. Another thing too is it's good if you plan on hunting with him or anything like that, because it's as soon as he catches a scent, he tracks.
Yeah.
He automatically does that. He just goes hard on it too, and he has that he has that razor sharp focus on that task. So that's really good if you were planning on actually ever going hunting with him or searching or anything. Oh, there's a Dalmatian. Those are rare. What do you think, bud? Hi, how you doing? Good.
Begal. Here, Begal. Here.
So.
Let's ignore that Dalmatian. Okay.
Ah, you
Thank
did good. So a little bit of just regular puppy lack of impulse control, right? Like, hey, I want to go check this guy out. I'm gonna go. Hey, I want to go and check out whatever it is on my nose. I want to go. I see that dog. I want to go check him out, right? So a lot of just self-development there, right? Because we can like force him to stay and get his attention and hold him back and everything, but if he doesn't ever develop that himself, it's always going to be a lot harder, right? We're always going to have to micromanage that. That's usually a tough one for puppies. And this is also going to be something to note too. He's probably pulled so often on the leash, right?
Yeah.
That he's very accustomed to the pressure. He's maybe already built up some calluses. He's still pretty young, but he's used to the tension on the leash and the pressure on the leash. And so if he's used to it, it's harder for us. Like we have to add more force, right, to kind of make that impact.
So he's like 50-50. Like half the time I'll take him out on the collar. Other time I've got a full harness that I use on him.
Okay.
And so like the harness he does better with.
Okay.
But I'd rather him just be on the collar. Because the collar is easier to work with and everything.
Gotcha.
So like the harness he does okay with, but he still tries to drag sometimes. But the collar weighs way more.
Okay. And do you think it's because the collar just makes more impact and the harness is kind of more so encouraging his pulling?
Well, the harness, he does better on the harness. Like, he doesn't really pull on the harness.
Okay.
So,
why do you think that then? That's what I meant.
I don't know. I think it's just...
Here, I'll give you this.
I don't know, really. It's just... I think it just pulls differently on him is what it is. So, like, when he feels it down here, because I put it down here, he feels it, like, here on his chest. For some reason, that makes him pull less. Like, he still pulls sometimes, but... Probably about half as much.
So it might be because it's making him more uncomfortable, so he can recognize it more, so it makes more impact.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So for some reason, choking himself to death
Yeah.
doesn't seem to bother him as much as something squeezing him down there on his chest.
Just used to it.
Yeah.
Good. So when he's focused on that pup, go ahead and say his name once.
Begal.
Yeah.
Begal.
So, good boy. There you go.
Good boy. Good boy.
Good. So it's almost just like the nose, right? If he is fixated on something else, it's really hard to get his attention back. So we're definitely going to need to just develop that more. And he's crying, right? Even though we've only been standing here for a couple seconds.
Uh-huh.
So it means that he's really always wanting to do something, always needing that engagement. So that's another reason why we're gonna have to work with you on how to give him that engagement and something to do, even when it doesn't seem like he has anything to do, but like walk with us.
Yeah. Very good. Let's go.
Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to go over with me, or you think you can show me?
No, that's pretty much it right now. So it's that, the come, and relieve it.
Okay.
Those are like our big issues with them right now. Bagel, here.
I think that's a good enough grocery list to work on,
Yeah.
anyways.
Good boy. Here. Thank you. Good boy. Oops. Here. I know it's scary though. It's scary. Now you want to here. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, he's very used to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bagel. Here. Good boy. Thank you.
Good. So
Better.
now, as soon as he checks out, check him back in. Good. And then as soon as he checks out, check him back in. Good. Now reward him.
Good boy.
Good.
Bagel.
Good. So you kind of see, yeah, we need that release part too. We need that continued focus somehow.
Good boy. Thank you, buddy.
Good boy. There you go. All right, I got a couple ideas we could do. So you can see how you can extend it, right? But as soon as a higher level distraction goes, or if you run out of treats or something, you're gonna drop off.
Yeah, it's game over then.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's almost a year and a half. So what is he? April? Yeah, he's about a year and a half.
Okay. It is pretty good.
Yeah.
So we are out working with Mr. Begal here for the first time. Just gonna practice some good name recognition and response, as well as some leash pressure. If you can't tell by his excellent physique and definition in his arms there, he's definitely used to pulling, very much so, through a lot of leash force. And we want him to, instead of continuing to pull when he feels that leash pressure, we want him to acknowledge and redirect his focus back to us, so that way Dad can use the leash also as a communication device and not have to give so many commands. On that note too, we'll also be working on name recognition. Just very classic conditioning there. We say his name, we get his attention, we give him praise and treats. We just want to repeat that as much as we can, so that way he gets conditioned. Good boy. He gets conditioned to hearing it and wanting to respond. You know, almost like a twitch response as opposed to thinking about it. And that really helps when he will be getting distracted. If he has a good twitch response, he just hears his name and automatically wants to kind of pull him from whatever it is that he's interested in currently. You know, the reason why I have him on an extended leash is just because if we had him on his regular leash now, we would have already been tight on the leash. And I really want to do my best to, as much as possible, control when the leash pressure happens, so that way we can clearly recognize what he's responding to, whether it's his name or whether it's to the leash force, or we might combine both as well. So the first step here is to let him know that we have a treat. It's just some chicken. Good boy. Now I'm just going to wait for him to get distracted, and then I'm going to use his name to refocus him. Begal. Yes, good boy. And that's it. I'm not going to give him any extra commands right now or anything else. I'm just going to say his name. Mark, as soon as he gives me his focus again, good boy. Now I don't have a treat and he's still giving me focus, which is really good. And give him that reward. We want to try to connect the reward to the process or to the task as soon as possible. So that way he has a better chance of recognizing that that's what he did right? Just hearing that sound and looking at me, he got rewarded for. Nothing else, very plain and simple, but it's gonna help us a long way down the road. Then same here for the leash pressure. Okay, we'll wait until we're moving again. Okay. So now instead of him just hitting the end of the leash and it getting tight, I can control it. So now, yes, good boy. And the same thing, right? As soon as he, good boy, as soon as he had felt the pressure, he turned around, he looked at me. Right? I didn't ask him to come, but it was good that he did, and I just gave him that reward. We really want to try to condition these two behaviors as well as we can, because it'll help with everything else in his training. And then a few things to note while we're walking around doing this is timing. Okay, a lot of times if we call them too often, right, we run the risk of them getting bored or not wanting to listen just because they've done it so many times. And then also we want to pay close attention to how distracted is he. Like right now his nose is up, he's checking in on me periodically, good boy, right? So he's not super distracted, he's almost already waiting for his name. But as soon as his nose gets on the ground, we can test it again, because he's going to be more distracted, right? Begal. Yes, good boy. Wasn't completely on the ground yet, but almost there. Good boy. And the time in between calling him, giving him that, oh, you step on something, bud. Well, maybe just some hard pine needles. You're all right. The time in between, we give him that free time, right? So he can wander, he can use his nose, he doesn't have to focus on me. And we're giving him this free time because we want him to get distracted. We want him to forget about us. So that way, when we do use his name, it reminds him to focus on us. Here's another good opportunity here because he's distracted by the kids and the mom playing with the kid. Getting pretty far. Begal. Yes, good boy. Good job, big guy. Very good. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. Very good. There you go. Didn't need the leash pressure or his name. He just turned around and followed me. And now this is what I went over with his dad. I'm going to go ahead and give him a treat and praise for that act alone, right? Because I didn't have to give a command. I didn't have to give any leash pressure. He just saw that I was moving away, and he took it upon himself to not only recognize that, which is great, but to refocus and catch up to me. And it's really good behavior that's going to help save his dad a lot of effort down the road, right? So the more focus that he has on us, the less effort that we have to do to either get that focus back or to maintain that focus, right? So whenever he just does it naturally, we definitely want to reward that behavior too, because we want him to do that more often. Usually the behaviors that you reward, they'll do more often, and the behaviors that you punish or ignore are the ones that will generally subside. And we got another pup over here. So we'll use leash pressure, and you can see he's not redirecting because he's still too focused on the pup there. Good boy, yes, there we go. Good. And so instead of just increasing the leash pressure by pulling, right, I just stayed patient. Because he's already used to additional pressure. I want him to get used to as little pressure as possible. I want him to feel the pressure, figure out that he can't just pull through it to get to whatever he wants by holding. And then as soon as he has that process in his mind, like, hey, why can't I get to what I want because I'm feeling this pressure on my neck, what's going on? As soon as he gets to that what's going on part and he looks back at me for direction, that's what we're looking for. We want him to stop trying to just get to everything himself, right? And then look more to us for that guidance. Just finally ran out of leash there just because we're crossing. Hi. You wanna go say hi? What do you think? It looks like they're heading in. So once again, he's a good distance away. His nose is on the ground. Oh, not yet. Almost. So really, really waiting, right, to see once he's caught a scent of something and he starts tracking it with his nose. Because that's going to be probably when he's the most distracted. Almost running out of leash. I have to walk a little bit faster. There we go. Begal. Oh, good. So he looked up, but he had to pee first, and now he's gonna come. Good boy. Good job, bud. I got you. And so that's another good point there, is not rapid firing commands, right? Because we want him to respond the first time, every time. We have to figure out why he didn't. And instead of just saying his name again right away or trying to pull him or leash pressure or anything, just seeing what he was doing and acknowledging that, oh, he was finding a spot to pee, he's gonna mark. He did respond by refocusing to his name. He just wanted to complete that task first before coming to me, which is understandable. Most of the time we'll want him to not, complete a task, because it means him just continuing on his nose or following a trail, getting into things. But in that instance, it was okay. So sometimes when he's not responding, instead of trying again right away, I want to try to analyze the situation to see why he's not responding. That will also help to let us know if we need to do something different, or we can just give it another shot, right? Because a good way for him to actually get used to ignoring you is just repeating his name or repeating a command and not having any kind of consequence or any kind of action attached to it afterwards. It makes it really easy for him to ignore it, right? When there's no reason to listen to it and there's no reason to not listen to it. He's doing pretty good on the loose leash though. I was definitely afraid he was just going to catch a trail and just jet off and we'd be stuck constantly at 16 feet away, but he's definitely doing a good job. I think he did during the evaluation, just kind of sticking close to his dad. We're starting off low level distractions here with just like kind of the environment, and we'll move up as soon as we get more practice in on the basics to those situations that does distract him a bit more. Chewing on a stick. We should take a quick stick break, I guess. It's usually good for pups. Good boy. Chew on things so long as it's not hurting their teeth and that's not too hard that it is and he's not swallowing it, obviously. That's perfectly fine. Chasing after a bird. We'll do another leash pressure one here. And the way I'll make this leash pressure more obvious is not only will I activate the leash pressure by pausing the leash, but I'll also change direction on him, right? Because he's not paying attention. I'm going, wait until we're kind of walking one way, and I'll turn and walk the other way. Yes, good boy. And also that kind of forces him to catch up. Right? He realizes after he's turned around from feeling that pressure that I'm all the way over here. And then he gets rewarded for catching up, kind of like with his father and the here command, right? We can attach that to the leash, then that's just one less thing that dad has to say, and hopefully one more thing that will naturally happen when you're on like a shorter leash and he just hits the end of it, right? He'll just come back, reset himself. Good boy. Good job, big guy. Oh, so there's another good distraction there. It's a pup. Begal. Oh, good listen. Good boy. All right, let's go ahead and get out of the area so we don't bother the pup too much. Leash pressure. Leash pressure. Good boy. Very good. Good. And I'm trying to use the pressure in pulses as opposed to just steady, consistent pressure, because that's obviously something that he's more used to. So if I just pop it and then unlock it, good boy. The goal here is for him to also figure out, and we'll do more practices with this separately, when the leash is nice and loose, he's doing a good job. When the leash is tight, that's his like oops moment, right? Good boy. Good job. Wait. Okay, free. I want him to start also getting used to healing and then releasing, right? So that way he will heal as we continue to ask him to, up until that point where he gets released, and then he can just be free and walk around and do as he wishes. Good boy. You doing good, big guy? Oh, good boy. So now before he checks out, give him some praise again. Good boy, good here. Good job. Here? Oh, good job. So changing direction on him, right? When he's, oh, and now he's getting too far ahead. Here? Good. Wait. Yes. Free. Free. Good boy. Alright, go ahead and pause the video here so it's not too long, because it's just going to be a lot of repetition from here, and we can add this to the other parts of his first video for his dad. Alright, you sit? Good boy.